This is the TJ Show, our news. It sounds different around here. Kenny reads through every story he can find, and then he brings us the most interesting ones. Kenny, what's happening on the planet today?
AI writing is absolutely all over the internet, and you have human writers now going to extremes to prove that their writing is human, according to this article from Wall Street Journal.
How do you do that?
You dumb your writing down, essentially. You have one copywriter. She went to Harvard. She says, I'll aggressively use casual language like, hey, yo, for real, or drop a bunch of exclamation points. She says, it feels so icky to do this, but it's what you have to do to sound human.
Isn't that bizarre?
That is super bizarre.
Sad.
Yeah.
You have to take this, so you've spent your life figuring out a way to write in this beautiful way, and you now have to go back on that just to prove that you're not a computer.
Yeah, because the AI writing, I mean, it's grammatically perfect. The spelling is perfect. The diction is perfect. So you have to do something to stand out because this stuff is just saturating the internet, and it's hard to stand out.
Yeah, this is where we're at. It's bizarre.
Not everyone is supposed to do everything. Like, I feel like AI is making mediocrity rise to the top, which is very annoying to me.
Well, social made mediocrity rise to the top. AI just put a bull on it.
Exactly.
For sure.
Really popular to be mediocre.
Yeah.
That's what we're realizing. Kenny, what else you got?
The biotech firm Colossal Biosciences, remember this is the company that brought back the dire wolf, which was previously extinct, and they also made a woolly mouse with some woolly mammoth genes.
Yeah, it's very bizarre what's happening with like bringing back these extinct animals.
Yeah.
Pretty fascinating stuff.
Yeah, so they have a major milestone. They just successfully hatched 26 live, healthy chickens using a first-of-its-kind artificial egg.
Oh.
I don't know about that. What do you
Stop
do?
playing.
Where does that go?
Well, say they want it to lead to the bringing back of the dodo bird, which has gone extinct. They say they're about 4 to 5 years away from bringing back the dodo bird using this method. Also, the moa, the giant moa, which is an extinct bird, 13-foot-tall flightless bird native to New Zealand. So they want to bring back these animals, and they do it with this 3D printed, biologically accurate replica egg made out of titanium, and then some liner made of silicone that mimics the oxygen in what would be a regular chicken's egg.
Man, it's so trippy.
Why do we want to keep bringing back things
That's
that
my question.
no longer exist?
What
Like, for what?
Won't it mess up the ecosystems, considering they've been gone for so long,
Yeah.
and we've adapted, without them?
other animals have adapted as well? And we
Yeah.
can't even take care of the animals we have. We keep building
Right.
things and they can't seem to find homes. So why do we keep bringing back things that have been gone for a while?
Yeah, this is a very complicated one. I don't know.
Yeah, and if nature's not going to do it, why should we play with nature? You know what I'm saying?
But I do wonder sometimes with all of these creating things, and a lot of it is because of AI, because they can capture whatever
Sequence
the generic
genes, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like actual Jurassic Park stuff.
Yeah, literally.
But it does make me wonder if we're getting a hint of how we were created. It's pretty interesting that there's a way that you can now make a bird like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, and previously with the dire wolf and the other mammals that they've brought back, they used an actual animal host to grow the embryo.
Yeah.
You can't do that with birds or reptiles, egg-laying animals. So this is a step towards that, which could bring back other extinct birds and reptiles.
Listen,
Maybe
at
dinosaurs.
this point, as my dad would say, in this world, nothing's surprising me. It just gets crazier and crazier and crazier. Kenny, what else do you have?
This is a touching story. So David White, he's 58 years old. He spent his entire career in the education industry, 33 years, the last 15 years as a school principal. He finally decided to retire, but after retiring, he found himself, quote, just hanging out with the cat and decided he needed a new purpose. So this former principal is now back at his old elementary school in Atlanta, Georgia, as the school's handyman.
Hey,
Nice.
how about that?
That's awesome.
That's fun.
Way to go.
That's very cool and
Lower
very
stakes, you know what I mean?
well, and it's
I mean,
a humble move.
Maybe lower stakes.
Well, yeah, the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
You see what the kids
You gotta
doing
take
there.
care
Yeah,
of
he
plumbing.
says he's feeling fulfilled, and he says the work allows him to continue contributing meaningfully to the school community.
Right.
Kenny, what else do you have?
There have been several recent college graduation ceremonies where the commencement speaker was booed by the students in attendance. They all had one thing in common. The commencement speaker brought up artificial intelligence.
Well, yeah, you've got all these people who have been working hard at getting educated, doing all the things you have to do. And then you see headline after headline, most jobs being replaced. And it's like, so you're telling me I just went to school for 4, maybe 8 years, and now everything that I just learned, a computer's going to do that? It's upsetting.
Yeah, at the University of Arizona, the former Google CEO Eric Schmidt came off as tone deaf after talking about what an important effect AI will have on the future. Also at the University of Central Florida, Gloria Caulfield, a real estate executive, said that the AI revolution is the next industrial revolution. That was met with boos. At Middle Tennessee State University, Scott Borchetta, the CEO of Big Machine Record, talked about how AI is currently rewriting music production.
Boo, hate that.
That got booed.
I really don't like that.
And then the last one at Marquette University, Chris Duffy. He's considered an AI evangelist at Adobe. He went on to speak about AI and its importance and, again, was booed by those in attendance.
See, it's tough because with a software like Adobe, I love Lightroom.
Sure.
And you edit pictures in Lightroom. It's amazing to me that if you want to remove something from a photo, like there's an ugly water bottle, whatever, you just select it and it's gone like magic and the edit is beautiful. To my eye, I can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
And so I go, well, that's a good tool that saves a lot of time.
Right.
Can we be mad at that? But then where's the line?
That's the thing. There needs to be a line.
Yeah, but what is the line and how do you determine the line? That's why it's so confusing.
Yeah.
Kenny, what else you got?
Imagine you're an artist and 30 years ago you painted this massive mural and then you come to find out that your art is now gone. It just got painted over.
What happened there?
So this is in downtown Dallas. There's an artist. His artwork has been on display. It's the walls of these parking garages, and it's swimming whales, beautiful art. Like I said, it's been there for 30 years. Well, the FIFA World Cup is having some games in Dallas, and FIFA decided to paint over this historic mural with new art promoting the matchups in Dallas for the World Cup.
Oh, wow. Well, it's probably somebody owns the wall, and they treat it like a billboard, and they're paying top dollar. So I'm sure it was just a big payday.
Yeah, the artist himself says he was deeply disheartened by the erasure of the piece without prior dialogue or community discussion. Local high school seniors launched a change.org petition to raise awareness about preserving local art and history, which has already garnered hundreds of signatures. A spokesperson for the area's World Cup organizing committee stated that while they're excited to unveil this new piece of art, a portion, and I don't know where this portion is, of the original mural will be preserved.
There's a little blue dot on the bottom.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, from the pictures I've seen, the whole thing has been painted over.
Wow. Yeah. At least it's not AI.
Yeah.
Kenny, what else do you have?
I'm not sure if you've seen this. It's gone viral, but somebody drove their Cybertruck into a lake in Texas. They reportedly were trying to test out the vehicle's waiting mode.
Oh, so on purpose.
On purpose.
That's
So
not good.
Tesla Cybertrucks, they're meant to be off-road vehicles. So if you take it off-roading and you want to drive across a shallow stream or a river, you hypothetically could do that. However, this guy just drove it right into a lake, apparently hit a rock right off the bat, disabled the vehicle. They had to lift it out with a crane.
Well, that's
silly.
not good.
That's not a small body of water. That's a
That is
lake.
A silly
Yeah,
thing
it's
to do.
not a boat.
Yeah.
Although it would be cool, you know, in Boston they have these duck boat tours
Yeah.
where you go around the city and it's on land and in the water.
Yeah.
It's
That
the
is pretty
coolest
cool.
thing. I've never been on one. My family's done it a bunch of times. It's like, yeah, 1 minute you're on the road, next minute you're turning into a body of water.
That would trip me out, though.
It is weird. Yes.
So the driver was arrested and faced multiple charges, including operating a vehicle in a closed section of the lake, lacking valid boat registration, and other water
Hilarious.
safety equipment violations.
Get out. You get a violation for critical thinking or lack of.
Kenny, what else do you have?
Amazon founder Jeff Bezos recently sat down with CNBC for an in-depth interview, and it kind of came off a little tone deaf, in my opinion.
Really? I've never found him to be that.
Well, he was talking about AI, and he thinks that AI is going to be life-changing. It's going to make our lives better, not worse. And here's the specific quote that he gave that I think rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. He compared it to if you've been digging out a basement for your house with a shovel, and somebody's about to hand you a bulldozer, you should be so happy. So he says we should be so happy that AI is going to come alleviate all of our problems.
What I don't enjoy is a lot of these tech guys, they all seem to be in this club. And yes, they're geniuses. They've done some things in the world where you're like, wow, how did they do that? But at the same time, there's almost like this gaslighting going on where we're just to accept millions of jobs are going to go away, but whatever, it's going to be better.
Yeah, it's like lay down and take it. It's like an abusive person being in a relationship with someone who happens to be abusive but hot. But then the person who's hot and abusive is like, you should be happier with me because no one else would want you. And it's like, no, this is a horrible relationship. Why should I be happy with this? Why should I settle with this?
That might be accurate. It's
a good analogy.
Hot people get away with a lot.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I have status, I'm hot, I have money, but I'm abusive to you, and the other person should just take it. Absolutely not.
So I give you convenience. You want something, it shows up at your door. It's hot, but what else are you up to?
It's a great price, but no.
Yeah, the prices are good.
Yeah.
I got a rubber stamper, by the way. Great price.
You don't need it, though. Find it somewhere else.
I like analog things.
Okay, I respect that. Just to support mom and pop shops.
Kenny, what else you got? I don't want to get too sad today.
Well, he made some other statements.
Oh, really? Okay. Go ahead. We'll take it all in one shot.
Let me get a drink.
Well, he suggested that the bottom 50% of earners in the United States should have to pay zero income taxes.
Well, it sounds great. Now, here's the thing. I've heard a lot of people in influential spaces, they seem to, like when something else is going on, they seem to say, and we're going to lower your taxes. And then everyone's like, yeah, that sounds awesome. All right. But do they ever lower your taxes?
Not that I've
Have
noticed.
they gone down for you,
No,
Jago?
they have not.
Yeah,
at all.
I'm waiting for it. Yeah. So I'm just always, but now it seems like they're going, we're not going to just lower, let's eliminate. And it's like, well, okay, well.
What else are you taking with it?
Well, but if they're not lowering it, are they going to eliminate it?
Right.
It's hard to know.
Yeah, we'll see. So,
or belief.
A lot to take in from that interview with CNBC.
Kenny, thanks for keeping us somewhat informed.
That's what's happening.
And listen, we don't have to graft our bodies into computers.
No,
right?
we do not.
Is that what he's talking about? That's a different guy,
and
right?
we don't have to take it. No.
I saw first thing today. I saw a like a brain chip thing where like they were talking about grafting us with computers. And again, it's like, oh, it'll be good for these reasons. But then for all the other reasons, is it going to be good for humanity? I don't know. I like staying human.
Me too.
But that's going to be a controversial statement in probably about 10 years. Kenny, what else you got?
In Florida, a teenage girl and her friends took Lyft home from the beach. The girl was using her father's Lyft account, and I guess after they were dropped off, he received a message from Lyft saying that he was being charged $75 for damage done to the car during the ride.
Huh.
With that damage claim was a picture that showed an absolute mess in the back seat. So the father's thinking, wow, these girls are grounded for the rest of their lives. He confronts his daughter about this, and she goes, Dad, I didn't do that. We didn't leave a mess. We didn't have any food in the car or anything like that. And she takes a close look at the image. Lo and behold, there is a Gemini watermark at the bottom right of the image. The image was created by AI.
Whoa.
So the driver was trying to scam this family out of $75 with fake damage to his vehicle.
Get out of here. And can you imagine if she didn't see that?
Yeah.
Her dad would have paid that fine. Also, how many other people never saw the watermark and was like, fine, whatever, I'll just pay the fine.
Yeah, and also like what division to cause in a family.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, if they didn't figure that out, then all of a sudden the dad assumes the daughter is lying and she doesn't know how to explain herself. It's terrible. It's really dark.
Yeah, well, thankfully she was able to discover this. They reported it to Lyft. That driver has been fired.
Yeah.
As they should be.
Absolutely.
That's not right.
Kenny, what else do you have?
Playoff basketball and hockey in action last night. The Oklahoma City Thunder evened up their series with the San Antonio Spurs, winning 122-113. We have the Knicks and Cavaliers tonight, game 2 of the Eastern Conference Final. And on the hockey side of the equation, the Las Vegas Knights defeated the Colorado Avalanche 4-2. We have game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals this evening, featuring the Montreal Canadiens at the Carolina Hurricanes.
Kenny, what else do you have?
Well, this was an interesting article I saw in the Washington Post. It pretty much said, congratulations, class of 2026. good luck finding a job.
Oh, that's
in
nice.
a very
Good
sarcastic
uplifting.
Yeah, it's not uplifting.
tone. But it's, I guess, pointing out the harsh realities that the class of 2026 is facing. It is a difficult job market. AI is taking jobs, especially from those who were studying something like computer science. Also, I didn't think of this, but the class of 2026 graduating college, they had their high school careers severely interrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic. So they've had to deal with a lot of challenges as they're heading into the workforce.
It feels like a repeat of like 20 years ago when the recession was going down.
Sure.
It's just kind of like where we're at right now.
It's sad to see that, but I would say here's what I would bet on for job security: caring about people and their well-being, because how rare is that becoming?
Sure.
Understanding how do you lead people well, how do you treat them with respect, raise them up to their best potential, you'll have a job because the world desperately needs that. Kenny, what else you got?
If you have trouble trying to focus while reading a book, perhaps you should try immersive reading.
Tell me about it, Kenneth. Which, by the way,
Tell me more.
I did have trouble focusing on books for a very long time. It was a big struggle for me. I just couldn't I couldn't sit there and read and retain the information. It was very hard.
Yeah, and I think this might actually hit close to home for you, TJ. So immersive reading, it's trending on TikTok, but what people are doing is while they're reading a physical book, they're listening to the audiobook at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done that. I like it.
Interestingly enough, so it's a little bit different, but the thing that helped me read and actually like gather what was happening on the page was listening to books. And I don't know why. There was a season in my life where I just kept listening to books, and now I can do either one. I can listen or I can read a physical book, and I love it. And it's changed my life. I mean, there's no doubt. My life is better because I became a reader. So whatever it takes to make someone a reader, there's a gold treasure chest waiting there for you if you're willing to jump on it.
Yeah, readers report that engaging both eyes and ears makes it easier to stay focused, read faster, retain more information, and resist the temptation to check their phones. Now, there is one neuroscientist that claims that this
There's
does
always
not
one guy.
What is he claiming?
it doesn't always facilitate, quote, deep reading. Critical thinking, empathy, and reflection developed through cognitive patience of processing text alone does appear to be better for your brain, but the overall, I guess, argument of this article is talking about that even with that one caveat, if this is helping people engage with books and read more, then it's a net positive.
Yes, of course. Listen, so many people have walked the path, whatever path it is that we're on before us. Why do we want to try to figure it all out on our own?
Right.
I mean, let's just immerse ourselves in whatever it is that we're trying to pursue. And I know the path will be better because of it. So whatever it takes. Who? Neuroscientist. What does he know?
Yeah, exactly.
Kenny, what else you got?
Well, you may remember, I think it was about 15 years ago, there was an 11-year-old girl, Harper Grace. She sang the national anthem at a professional soccer match, and it went horribly wrong.
And didn't the crowd mock her or something?
Yeah, she got bullied pretty harshly.
Yes, I remember that.
Now, I guess it's good to say times have changed a little bit. At a college softball game, it was Oklahoma, the Sooners playing. They had a young boy come up to sing the national anthem. About halfway through, he forgot the words. But instead of bullying him or booing, the crowd jumped in and helped the kid sing the rest of the song.
That's
And
nice.
then there was a really cool embrace where the whole Oklahoma Sooners team kind of embraced the kid in a
Nice.
big huddle and hugged him, and there were cheers. And it was
love
just
that.
complete opposite of what happened 15 years ago, and I thought that was refreshing.
We'll take anything nice, any little nice win we could get. So good. Glad to hear it. Kenny, what else do you have?
Well, TJ, I remember, I think it was last week or maybe the week before, but you started reading off all of the things that we're agreeing to when we click on those accept cookie links online.
Yeah, even on websites that I really love. You click on them and you're like, this is what they're trying to get from me. And everything is just defaulted to, yes, I give you this. And so it's annoying that I even have to go through an extra hurdle just to use these websites. Everyone wants a take. Can the default be, we're not going to take anything unless you want us to?
Right.
Would that make this a lot easier?
It would, but it would never happen.
What can the default be? We're going to give you something. That'd be nice.
Yeah, it's like we're already using these websites. Isn't that enough?
So now there's this new report from the nonprofit Epic that's revealing that many of these online entities are using manipulative dark patterns to get you to give over your data. The report, 38 major companies, including social media networks, data brokers, dating apps, and AI firms were using deceptive design tricks to make it frustratingly difficult for users to opt out of data sharing.
Yeah. I believe
And
that.
here we're building up their companies and using their product, but that's not enough. No,
And they're selling our data. That's
Yeah.
what they're doing. That's how they're making their money.
It's honestly vampire-like. In any vampire movie I've seen, it's usually someone hot and you're interested in them. You want to start a relationship, and it's like,
Sure.
yeah, this is great. But then they got to take your life.
We just keep taking and
Right.
taking and taking.
Kenny, what else do you have?
Would you guys like to play a little guessing game with me today?
I like a guessing game. How about you, J-Bo?
I'm down.
All right.
Cool. So Consumer Affairs just came out with their annual list of the states that have the most road rage drivers. If you had to guess, which state has the most road rage drivers?
Well, I currently work with 3 people who are from Jersey, and you guys drive ridiculously. Except for TJ, he could drive a little faster. So I'm going to say New Jersey.
Well, I used to drive fast. I had to get a little slap on the wrist. A $600 ticket.
Wow.
Yeah, when I was-
that would slow me down too.
That slowed me right down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And also my mom, she'll yell if she's in the passenger seat. So you just want to do
That's
whatever makes her happy. I would guess Massachusetts because while I was living in Boston, I saw some of the most wild driving I've ever been exposed to. And I drove in New York City. And New Yorkers, they look like princesses compared to what I saw in Boston.
Interestingly enough, neither of the states you guys mentioned are in the top 5.
Ooh, can I get one more?
Go
for
ahead.
it.
Florida.
Florida's not in the top 5
Wow.
either.
Get out of here. Missouri. I live there. Believe me.
No Missouri either.
That's
at least
surprising.
not in the top 5.
Minnesota?
No Minnesota.
I live there too. I'm surprised. I'm surprised by all these. Go
Maybe
ahead.
you're the bad driver.
Maybe.
So this is all due to data. They find this information from data linked to traffic incidents where there was either aggressive or careless driving. Louisiana, for the second year in a row,
Get out of here.
is number 1 on the list.
Wow.
I feel like there's enough space there to drive well.
Yeah, I don't know what the explanation is for it, but
You know, New Yorkers sort of have this arrogance that they're the best drivers because they're constantly making so many quick decisions and the cars are so compact. But I would actually argue, I wonder if it's easier to drive in cities because everything slows down. You're forced to be stuck in traffic. So
Yeah,
how
that's true.
hard can it be?
I mean, you're going like 35 miles an hour.
or 3
Yes.
in some turns.
yeah, so that's a good point. Coming in
Louisiana.
at number 2, New Mexico, Colorado at number 3, Arkansas and Montana rounding
Wow.
out the
That
top
is
5.
surprising.
And you guys mentioned a bunch of Northeast states. Maine is the calmest state for drivers,
How about
according to
that?
this report.
I can see that. I mean, there's snow on the ground majority of the year,
Yeah.
so I'd be at home chilling.
Kenny, what else do you have?
So, TJ, I have a really good example of a guy who's using social media for good.
Oh, good. These are rare.
Yes, it is. So this guy, his name is Davis. He owns a window washing business called Window Wolf in Kansas City. And what he does is he films himself cleaning windows. And people love these videos of people cleaning, whether it's vacuuming or cleaning windows.
Oh, yeah. I can't stop watching those people going way up with those cables. It's incredible.
But so what he does is he finds struggling, unique small businesses and restaurants in the Kansas City area. He offers them free window cleaning services. And in the videos, as he's cleaning the windows, he gives their story and he's boosting these businesses
Oh,
big
look at
time.
that.
That is cool.
Good to hear that. Any way we can use social media for good, we need more of that.
Yeah.
Kenny, what else do you have?
So, TJ, you've worked in radio for what, the past 25 years?
That's right.
Explain to me, at least from your experience, how this happens. There was a radio station in England that mistakenly announced the death of King Charles, who is very much alive.
Oh my gosh, what?
Did they explain what happened exactly?
They said it was a computer glitch.
What computer glitch?
So, as it turns out, just real quick, in the UK, there is a law. All radio stations must have a monarch death procedure. So if a
interesting.
monarch dies, there's something that all of these radio stations have to do. According to a computer glitch, this triggered the procedure which announced King Charles' death, which didn't happen.
So my guess would be that they probably produced something. They loaded it into their playback system because, you know, a lot of radio stations, they're run almost like your Spotify, where it's a bunch of individual segments. So one of them was probably the King Charles announcement. And I wouldn't be surprised if they loaded it up years ago. And sometimes you have to create what's called a start date. Like, when is this allowed to start running? Maybe some producer just said, we'll put this like 3 years or 4 years in the future. And the 4 years came and they weren't even thinking about it. And then it ran because it was allowed to run. That would be my best guess.
And it's like, why is that producer wishing that on King Charles? In about 3 or 4 years, we'll see what happens.
It couldn't possibly go that long. Oops.
Well, Queen Elizabeth died in 2022. That's when King Charles became king. So that's plausible. I think that's an interesting theory.
Yeah, you don't want that to happen, though.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
They are apologizing for any unnecessary stress caused by their announcement.
Kenny, what else do you have?
I've heard the saying, patience is a virtue, but in this case, impatience really paid off. A guy from Maryland, he went to a liquor store. His intention was to play this virtual racetracks horse racing game. Essentially, it's an animated horse race, and you can bet on it. It's through the Maryland lottery.
That's funny.
So that's why he went to the liquor store. He wanted to play the horses. There was a long line at this machine to play this virtual horse racing game. Eventually, he gave up and said, you know what, I'm just going to go to the counter and buy a few scratch-off tickets. And one of those scratch-off tickets was a $50,000 winner.
Wow.
Okay.
Look at that. Now, that doesn't usually happen.
No.
But good for him.
So, he said the prize money will allow him to pay off his mortgage. He also said he will continue buying lottery tickets. He says, I'll always play. At my age, it's the only entertainment you might get. Maybe next time I'll want to skip the line and end up with a big win. Actually, I have a $50 scratch-off lottery winner in my glove compartment right now.
Ooh, good.
But it's
I parked next to Kenny.
It was a gift from my future father-in-law, so it's in a different state. I have to drive across state lines to cash it in.
Well,
I'll get to that eventually.
be sure to bring my crowbar on Monday.
Yeah.
For $50, I don't know if it's worth the jail time.
Right in the center console.
Kenny, what else do you have?
Saw this profile on businessinsider.com. There's a parent, her name is Kristen, and she really wanted her kids, who are now 12 and 10, to be independent and resilient from a young age. So she started giving them these small tasks, like walking to the mailbox to get the mail and perhaps, letting them play freely. Now, her concern wasn't for fear of stranger danger, but with her kids being so independent, she was concerned about well-meaning adults or police that would intervene or accuse her of neglect for letting her young children walk and play alone.
You may remember, so there was a woman who allowed her, I think it was her daughter, to walk to school, and she was like 12 or 13 years old, and this was in New York City. Someone called the police on her.
Which is insane because walking to school is the norm in a lot of places.
Well, could you imagine? Like, if you had someone jump in a time machine 30 years ago, and you saw them, I don't know if I can let my kid walk to the mailbox. What? They would think, what happened to the planet? Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is kind of where we've gotten to. It is this weird slow boil that's happened, and I'm right there with these parents. I get concerned. I'll tell you a story. So we were out to dinner the other night, and there was a fountain, soda fountain, and my kid wanted to go get water. And it was about 50 feet away. And I thought, could she do it on her own?
I think she can.
But she walked, and I was keeping my eye on her like a hawk. And I'm like, this can't be normal. And I'm looking around. I'm like, is anyone in danger here? And I'm seeing it's a bunch of college students. I'm like, that dude's looking at that chick. He's not looking at my kid. And the girl smiled at her. So I think this is safe.
And now, on the other hand, I have a friend of mine who recently moved to Norway with her family. And her 9 and 6-year-old take the train to school and home. And that is the norm there. Like, kids do that.
And that sounds sort of dreamy, but it sounds terrifying here for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Well, in this particular case, Kristen lets her 12-year-old take public transportation in Chicago to get to school. So her solution, with the help of the nonprofit Let Grow, she's printed out these kid licenses for her kids. And the license has the child's name, it has the parent's phone number, and the parent and the child's signature. And it essentially says to a concerned adult who intervenes, hey, I'm not being neglected. This is part of my parenting. I am a Let Grow kid. So there's little kid licenses to, I guess, put other people at ease that these kids aren't being neglected. This is just how they're being raised.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I wish I had like the solution to say, oh, if you just do it this way. But it's scary when you're a parent, especially when you read the news. If you've got access to social media, who wants their kid to walk out into that world? But you have to do something.
Yeah.
You can't keep them inside on a screen. That's the alternative.
Definitely a clever possible solution. Probably doesn't work for everybody, but something to put out there.
Kenny, what else do you have?
Yesterday, a woman named Kelsey Fendler is setting off to make history, and she literally set sail yesterday. Her goal, and she'd be the first American woman to do it if she does successfully complete this mission, is to row in a rowboat from Monterey, California to Honolulu, Hawaii. A 2,400-mile journey that's expected to take anywhere from 70 to 90 days.
Wow.
I don't know.
Row, row, row your boat gently across the ocean.
Are flights that expensive? Is this where we're at
They
now?
are pretty pricey.
This is wild. But I wonder from a logistics standpoint, if you're going to be in a rowboat over that long of a distance, how do you avoid either getting hit by another ship or something else? It just seems like there's such a high risk there.
Well, it's a risky thing. This is most definitely a dangerous thing that she is setting her sights on. I mean, the ocean's pretty big. The odds of her coming across a big ship, I think, are slim. But I think it would be pretty hard to see her in this tiny rowboat if you're on a big shipping container and the captain's deck is, 100 feet in the air.
It's not for me. I'll tell you. Good for her. First of all, happy for her that she knows how to do that. I got invited to go on a sailboat one time. It was when I was in Boston. And it was unbelievable. Boston Harbor. And they said, hey, you want to come on a sailboat with me? Oh, okay, yeah. We thought it was going to be this relaxing thing. We packed sandwiches. We were all ready. Went to Whole Foods. Got like a nice little bag.
Went to Whole Foods.
And I didn't realize that we were supposed to help with the sailboat.
Sure.
And so he starts directing us on what to do. And my wife Jess and I, we quote this all the time because my wife thought it would be a good time to open up her turkey sandwich. And she started eating it for this, quote, peaceful ride. And the guy looked at her and said, Jess, put down the turkey sandwich. And like reprimanded her. And so she was...
I invited you to come out here to work.
Yeah, she put it away and then she got up and she started pulling the ropes. And we were like, oh my goodness, we're stuck out here with this guy. We never saw him again. We were not
Wait, you
good.
thought you were being invited to come out to just be little, for him to serve you?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know. I mean, I've never been on a boat in my life.
All hands on deck.
Yes, I didn't know you had to get involved. I thought
Especially with sailing.
Yeah, I assumed there was a motor on it, but that's not the case.
Well,
Sailboat.
There may have been a small motor on it, but if you want to actually let the wind do the thing, there's a lot of ropes and pulling.
It's
and tugging
crazy.
And not time.
I'm like, who would want to do this? This is what you do. Like, if you're connected to a piece of another boat and you have to survive your way back to land, you wouldn't choose to do a sailboat. It doesn't make any sense.
It's a lot of work.
Yes, it was so weird. But anyway, Kenny, thank you for keeping us somewhat informed.
That's what's happening.
She's going to make it. She's going to do fine.
So.